Hello, my name's David Mackay. I started my research career working on foot and mouth disease and other epizootic diseases of livestock at the Pirbright Institute, and then moved over to work at the European Medicines Agency on the regulation of veterinary medicines, particularly vaccines. I've been working for the last 3 years with colleagues at the European Commission for the Control of Foot and Mouth Disease to put in place a system to independently assure the quality of foot and mouth disease vaccines. This system is now up and running as the EuFMD Vaccine Pre-Qualification Scheme, and you can find details of this scheme on the EuFMD website. What I wanted to talk about here is the work on improving vaccine security that's now been included as a key objective within the new strategic plan for the EuFMD over the period 2023 to 2027, entitled Move Fast. This builds on the work done to establish the pre-qualification scheme and integrates it within a wider framework for vaccine security. First, what do we mean by vaccine security? In its simplest form, vaccine security means making sure there's a sufficient supply of an appropriate vaccine whenever it's required. You might ask, why is vaccine security such an issue when there's a commercial market for veterinary vaccines such as EuFMD and other fast diseases, and surely it can be left up to manufacturers to make sure that enough vaccine is available when it's needed? Unfortunately, the market for EuFMD vaccines is not like that for other veterinary vaccines, and a lot of work is needed to ensure that the market for EuFMD vaccines remains sufficiently attractive for commercial companies to think it worthwhile to invest in. There are a large number of elements that make the market for EuFMD vaccines challenging from both a commercial and from a technical perspective, and among these you could include that current vaccines have to be produced in high containment facilities that are expensive to build and operate, that EuFMD vaccines are technically complex due to the existence of multiple serotypes and strains of the virus, each of which essentially requires a separate vaccine strain, and finally, the market for EuFMD vaccines is particularly unpredictable as countries where EuFMD is not endemic seek to eradicate the disease, and success means that the market for the vaccine is eradicated along with the disease. In contrast, countries where EuFMD is endemic aim to eradicate or reduce EuFMD through vaccination, but often find it difficult to put in place sustained vaccination campaigns due to their high cost and a lack of infrastructure at local level. This leads to an unpredictable market and acts as a disincentive for manufacturers to invest. It's clear from this rationale that vaccine security can only be tackled by engaging all of the different parties that are involved in EuFMD control, including both the public and the private sectors. To address this, EuFMD has set up a multi-stakeholder platform that involves all of the international bodies involved in animal disease control, principally FAO and the World Organization for Animal Health, non-governmental organizations such as GalVmed and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, manufacturers of fast vaccines and their industry associations, the EuFMD Laboratory Network, research organizations and national authorities responsible for disease control and regulation of medicines. The main challenges that EuFMD will address over the next 4 years using this multi-stakeholder platform include promoting the uptake of the pre-qualification scheme so that it can become self-sustaining, working with risk managers and manufacturers to develop new business models for supply of EuFMD vaccines that promote sharing of risk and increase the predictability of supply, continue to develop models and tools that predict demand for EuFMD vaccines, as this helps communication between government veterinary services and manufacturers about how many doses are required, and work that will strengthen the vaccine value chain. This term refers to all of those elements that are essential for a successful vaccination campaign, including a better understanding of how to ensure uptake of vaccine by the end user, how to create and maintain an effective supply chain from the manufacturer to the end user, and how to design vaccination campaigns in the most cost-effective manner. I hope that in these few minutes I've been able to explain why it's important that EuFMD not only at the technical aspects of FMD and other fast vaccines, but also focuses on vaccine security to ensure that vaccines are available when needed and are effective when used. Thank you, and you can follow our work on Twitter and Telegram.